Felicia
From the
Michaels,
moment
my
you hear his
princess,
voice, you
has been
know
entertaining
there are
audiences
problems.
with a unique
Joey
style
Coco Diaz has
of
been rocking
provocative humor
comedy
since the
stages for
90s, all right?
15 years.
With her
You've seen him in
tongue-in-cheek,
films and
she's been
television,
exploring
but
such
his
topics
real
as the
patois,
dynamics
as
of
is
the
fond of saying,
male-female
are the
relationships,
stories from
or
his
as we call them
past
here in
and
the
his
studio,
chaotic
dirty
views on
thoughts,
life that will make
and
this
the
podcast
proliferation
a different
of the
beast.
sensual
Raw
feminist.
pain and
She's a little
passion is how to
firecracker
really
rolled up, and that's why I
describe
love her,
this
and that's why you're going to
Cuban-born
love listening. So
New
tune in,
Jersey
all right?
Animal. My niece is here, the one who wore, last time she was here, she wore furry ears. This time she got off the plane and she was dressed like a French femme fatale. Is that how you say that?
Absolutely.
But in a goth kind of way, and she like grew, and then I was in Minneapolis, which I had a great time in Minneapolis. That was a lot of fun, and then I flew in, and then
You've been rocking and rolling since you got off that plane. It's
yeah.
crazy when you get off a plane, you're kind of tired at our age. We're not like young. Remember when you were 20, you could fly, stay up till 6, catch an 8 o'clock flight, come back to town, go hook up with people, and go do 2 spots that night, and it was fucking nothing, you know?
Well, you because you were coked up, and me,
No. I couldn't do coke when I was on stage and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I would party afterward
Yeah.
and the night before, but not during the daytime. That would always kill me, and it would just
Did you go on stage all fucked up?
Do you want me to tell you something? One time when I first started at the Broker, I was still hosting at the Broker St. Patty's Day with Troy Baxley and Todd Jordan. I thought it would be a good idea to do a couple lines before I went on stage. I did it, and I never fucking got coked up again before I went on stage.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
that just does not work.
Yeah.
Even if you do it at 2 in the afternoon and go up at 8 that night, the residuals are still in your blood, and you really can't focus because it blocks the love. I would feel myself just saying words instead of really feeling the material and feeling it and being there, you know?
Yeah.
And even like if I had done a lot of blow the night before, when I was on stage the next night, I could feel it. Like if I would have a good, you ever have a shit set, but you hit it, you masked it so it was good, and people thought it was good, but you went back to your room and said, "This is bullshit. I gotta do a better job." Those nights I would go home and I would stay clean for 2 nights, and then I would at least be ready for Friday and Saturday. Then Saturday I'd get fucked up. Who cares about Sunday?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
You hate Sundays.
Hate fucking working Sundays, you know?
I like Sundays because then the pressure's off and you can really just do whatever the fuck you want to do.
It's crazy. Here's the deal with me. I was brought up that Sundays wasn't like, I mean, listen, my mom had that bar open Sundays and all that shit. But Sunday days were kind of for the family, you know? And it's weird when you know me, I was a comic to the end. I don't give a fuck about hotel rooms. I sleep in a hotel room to the end of life. I don't care. Air conditioning, the whole thing. But it just started after, I don't know, one day, like in 2003, I was in Dallas. This is right before I did Mad TV. And I was like, this is my life. I'm in a hotel on Sunday, and I'm getting $700 a week. The headliner's getting $20,000. And he's been telling me to slow down all fucking week. I'm going to pick up 200 because I snorted the first 500 in draws. I'm going to go home and get on TV and try to get some credits, you know? But I go, if I get credits, I'll never work a fucking Sunday again. I hate flying Mondays. It's just bad luck for me. I don't know why. I don't know, Felicia. And when I get up on Sunday, as soon as I get off that last show and that money's in my hand, it's over. I can't even comprehend. Don't even talk to me because you're not going to get nowhere. All I'm thinking about is going back to that room, going to bed, and getting on that fucking plane. And trust me, let me tell you something. Before I go to the comedy club that night, I already call all the airlines to see if there's a red eye. Because I will bolt the fuck out of it in the middle of the night. You have no idea. Once I'm done, I'm done. I'm going the fuck home. Because for years I didn't have a home. And I was forced to stay out. Forced to stay out to kill time because I didn't have a home. You know, I had a place to sleep kind of, sort of, but it really wasn't a home. So that's my psychology now. Like I told you, from Monday to Friday.
Wow, Joey, that's
deep. So
that's deep.
I never really knew that until, so I really appreciate it now. I got a home on fucking Sunday, and I got a wife on Sunday. I don't want to be that guy 10 years ago that she says to me, well, you're always on the road. I understand the possibility of making money on the road. I understand, but I couldn't live my life. I could live my life without money. I've been doing it for 30 fucking years. I can't live my life without my companion. Do you know what I'm saying? That Sunday is special to her and it's special to me. Even if I sit in my room and she sits in the living room and she watches True Blood and I mind fuck myself on the computer writing some stupid joke about eating ass, I'm home. I'm home. And
Yeah.
to me, I can't tell you what that means. I was watching The Blind Side the other day, and it was Thanksgiving. And I was just in my hotel room. You know, when you're in a hotel room, you watch everything. You catch up on everything.
Oh, you have a system.
Discovery,
Yeah.
Hoarders.
Oh, I know.
You watch everything, and it's tremendous.
I got trapped by a Hoarders episode.
Whale Hunter. You watch
Marathon.
everything because, when the fuck, I can't sit. Who the fuck are you to sit? When was the last time you sat? You sit and all of a sudden you got a kid, Mommy, are we going to go here at 2:30? So you can't get into nothing because you're not focused. It's like try to go to the movies at 12 o'clock during the week. You can't fucking do it. If I called you and said, Felicia, you want to go catch a matinee? You know yourself. By the time we sit down, the phone's going to ring. Mommy, I got a toothache. We got to leave the fucking matinee. So why plan it? Just do shit that you can work around. And if something does go wrong, you're close to the fucking day. I can't even go to the movie theater no more Monday through Friday.
Really?
I can't focus. I got shit on my mind. If I catch myself sitting, it's like, what? How can I be sitting? I got $100 on my ATM card. How can I be fucking sitting? That's my mentality. You know what I'm saying? That's what's always driven me. So Sundays, it's just weird. You sit there all day to do one show. And that's what I could be with somebody. I could be at the farmer's market.
That's true. True.
I worked enough Sundays. That's my point. You worked enough Sundays too.
Yeah, but I don't mind it so much. But yeah, I understand what you're saying about that. For me, it's the opposite. It's like, I don't want to leave the hotel.
No. Oh my God, how great was it?
But before, when I did comedy, I was like, not another fucking hotel. Holy shit.
No, before when I did comedy, when I was really into it, like 95 to 2003, 2003. It was 8 years of, you got a gig, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Sundays, Mondays. I didn't give a fuck if Terry bought groceries. I didn't really care because I was used to it. This is how I was raised. You just fucking work. But after a while, you're like, you know what, man? I could work Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Fuck Sundays, or fuck. You have to give something up for that person or whatever. We're back, bitches!
How are you?
Beauty and the Beast, Felicia Michaels.
Joey Diaz.
What's happening, you sexy motherfucker?
What is happening?
You look good. The weight is back. The stitches are healed.
The stitches are healed.
Everything's on board. Look at you. You're sexy, sexy, sexy motherfucker.
I am so going to get a tattoo above my vagina, though.
Oh, I would too. With directions or whatever the fuck you were thinking.
No, I'm not going to do instructions. I told you. But things are good. I flew back from Minneapolis. That was a lot of fun. The people were very nice. The Mall of the Americas really is an amazing thing. It is so fucking big. There's so much to do. There's so many stores, and I didn't buy a goddamn thing.
They confuse you.
It's like I just want to go, and I'm like, I'll buy this $4 T-shirt. Maybe I can get this T-shirt for $3. Walk a couple of football fields around, and then after that, you're like, fuck it, I can't deal, and then I don't buy anything.
Then you don't buy anything. That happened to me Sunday at Macy's with my wife. I went to Macy's. I got a pair of shorts that were like $15, and a T-shirt that was on sale for $8. But it was okay. You ever pick something up and you're like, I'll get it because it's $15.
Right.
But do I really want to jump on what I really wanted? I picked it up and I gave it to, I had no price on it. It was like $185. I just took that back to the rack, the shorts and the T-shirt, and walked the fuck out of there. And went to the food court and there was nothing there either. So, because they confuse you. They just have, it's too much stuff. You're like, there's Arab food, there's fucking gyros, there's, so who the fuck knows?
Who knows? What about yourself? How was your weekend?
You know what, Felicia? It was, look, Felicia, I grew up in a house where my mother was always on the move. Always on the fucking move. Even if she wasn't on the move, she was on the move. Do you understand those type of people? And that's what I grew up to become. And you know what? I fucking love it. I love it. I love it when I got to rock and roll. That's who I really am. That's, when I sit at home and I write jokes and I twit little things and I play with the cats and I go to an audition, that's all great and dandy. But my real Joey Diaz comes out, Coco comes out when I got to rock and roll. And last week I had one of those rock and roll weeks where all I had last week, what day did you leave?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So all I had was to do the podcast with you Tuesday. I had a couple of yoga things. And I was going to work on a pilot one day. And I was going to go to Arizona and do 4 shows. That was the plan of it. That was Sunday. That was Monday morning. I seen you Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday I left here. I got a call. You're working Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I'm like, how can this be? I can't. I only have one day. And they go, listen, in the contract, you got to work an extra day anyway, so we gave you an extra day. They rewrote the thing for me, which was a lot better. They rewrote it so like I had an arc as a character, as a gangster and all this shit.
Oh, good.
I get stuck in an elevator with the judge, and I have to tell him my past. And in my mind, I'm like, you know us as comedians, you're like, you're fucking with my comedy gig.
Right.
Like,
right.
I caught myself going like, wait a second, I got to be on a plane by 1:35. And they told me right on the phone, they're like, it's not going to happen. We have a network run through at 4. So figure it out. You sign the contract and do what you got to do. So here I am, and I looked on Southwest, and they had the last flight at 7:15. So I called them back, and I said, listen, I'll bend if you guys bend. If you get me out of there by 5:15, we'll sign the paperwork right now. And they said, done. Boom, let's do this. So they got me out. That was the deal. But it was 3 days of 6 in the morning, which 6 doesn't sound early, but you really got to get up at 4 if you're me.
Right.
Because I got to take a shower, get high, have my oatmeal. Even though they feed you on the set, I need my 1 hour of prep time just to write and pray to the gods and give thanks that I'm alive another day. I really do. I get up and I get nice and fucking stoned in the morning. I drink coffee. It's a process. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a fucking process. Ladies have it. They got to put the makeup on and the toes got to look good and the monkey's got to be shaven. Me, I don't have to do none of that stuff. You can't make me look good. I just got to be good in my mind. If I'm going to put up with 12 hours of on the set, sit, breathe, one more take, it's a fucking nightmare. And here I am saying it's a nightmare. But this is the point. I made everything. Everything worked out. But Felicia, while I was there, and you're going to really appreciate that, Thursday, we were stuck on the elevator with Cedric. And he looks up at me. He goes, how long do I know you? Right? He goes, when did we meet? And I go, we met in Denver at Club Mix, a black club. He's like, God damn, that was a long time ago. Oh, shit, motherfucker, I can't believe you said that name. This was a club on East Colfax, which is evil. Or at least it was evil in 94. It was fucking evil. Hotels that were half lit on fires with hookers in front of them. And in the middle of all this, they had a black club that did comedy on Sundays. And they flew in, like at the time, they flew in like Bernie Mac and Cedric.
Really?
Yeah, that's how we met.
Wow.
But they would put open micers up. And the only 2 white guys that were allowed on the property were myself and Kevin Fitzgerald. The veterinarian. That's it.
Yeah?
Everybody else got thrown the fuck out.
Oh,
They
really?
loved that black crew. Loved me and loved Kevin. A lot of white people went down and they got chicken bones thrown at them, and they banged on the glasses with the spoons, and they snapped their fingers. That means to get the fuck off. But they liked me and Kevin, and for some reason I said. I had just started, Felicia. So you know where my head's at. I've been doing comedy 6 months. So when you're doing comedy 6 months and somebody says, go do a room, we don't give a fuck. Let's go down there. In the back of your mind, you killed that Lulu's Castaway in front of 4 people. You're ready for anything. So I would go down there, Felicia, with no material. I would come out dancing, and I would go on stage and just call the black people different names. TLC, look at this superfly looking motherfucker, look at this chicken eating motherfucker. And I'd get away with it for 10 minutes. They'd give me a standing O. The owner would give me $8 and a hug. Black people, they always give you a hug, man. Solid. They give me $8 and a drink ticket. You know what I'm saying? And I went home, but to me, it was my world. I got a call one day from Judy Brown, and she goes, we're doing the Colorado comedy competition. We need a tape from you. So I was in a bind. Nobody booked me at that time, so I call this black club. And I fucking do the tape at the black club, and I'm all excited. I'm going to win this fucking thing. I go home the next day to Kashina Kessler's house. We put the tape on. Felicia, this is so bad. I wanted to cry. You ever look at the tape and you just want to fucking cry?
Yeah.
And I want you to relate to this because people have no idea. When you have so much effort in the beginning. Like now, I don't give a fuck. I make a bad tape, I throw it out, and I make another one in the car. I don't give a fuck. But in those days, when you thought you had a good set, like this is everything to you. This is the one. Fuck those people. I'm so funny. I won't even have to go to Hollywood. I'll make it out of Denver. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was just crying, Felicia. And I sent the tape, and I remember I went home and I thought to myself, how bad am I? I went to jail. I lost my wife. I lost all these things in life, and now the only thing I love, I'm fucking bad at. You know what I'm saying? Like
that was the hair that broke the camel's back.
But it wasn't even the hair. Like this is the comedy that you have to find in your life when you're that down. Like I remember going home, going in a corner. I was so depressed, I didn't even want to do Blow. Like after that tape, like Blow couldn't even help me. Like I just had to go home and really reevaluate your life. And I remember saying to myself, you know what? I'm going to work hard. I'm just going to work hard. I'm going to buy the Judy Brown workbook. I'm going to work it. And I remember like I gave up all my possessions and I fucking, here we are. I took a chance. But it was weird that I said to Cedric, I go, Cedric, do you remember those days? Because that's how we met. I got off stage and he goes, dog, you're crazy. And he shook my hand. He just walked away. And I asked him the other day, I go, do you remember that? He goes, listen. He goes, you were so fucking strong on stage, like personality-wise, with no material, that you were scaring black people. He goes, I sat there and watched a white, fat Cuban guy scare 200 black people into laughing. That's how, like, you know, he goes, you were terrible. But your heart made up for it, you know?
Right.
And it's just so weird, Felicia, you had the same experience. I don't know what it is. I mean, you had the same experience, and one night you went home and looked at the tape. What gives us this fucking confidence? I've been dying for 4 days to ask you this fucking question for the people at home. What gives us this false fucking belief that we're going to actually do it?
Because it's the concept of, all right, if that's how it's going to be, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like when you were telling that story, I remember I was stripping at this club near the airport, and I think I was 20 years old, and I had started doing sets around town, and I couldn't get into the Comedy Store because I wasn't 21. So I would just try to do like the day shift, like every once in, like maybe I'd do like a Friday, you know, once or twice a month, but I would do like Tuesdays and Thursdays because I really wanted my nights free, right? So these comics came in. And I saw the comics come in, and it was like Stevie's up on deck next, right? And that was my stripper named Stevie, and I was like, oh shit! And I gotta do my set in front of them, my pole dancing set. You know what I mean? I have to do 3 songs. Like I was like, what the fuck, man? I can't believe this. And then I couldn't get out of it, and I still needed the job. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. And that's how I get one before I go on stage. Just fuck it. And I went out there and I tried to do the best dance that I could.
But what gives us this false hope?
I know.
When we look at that tape to say, you know what? I'm going to continue this. Fuck what people say.
Because you're saying fuck
Fuck,
it.
I'm funny. I feel it, and people aren't feeling it. And I know that a lot of comedians listen to this, like young comics, because we get the emails. I got like 3 of them this week. A kid's going to go host. He didn't ever hosted before. Another kid that was featuring. So people start listening to this. So it's really weird that we explain to people, man, it's the fucking, I can't. For 4 days, I've been banging my head off the wall thinking about what possessed me to fucking continue this shit. I was so bad when I seen that tape. And I did like a spin move that really put me over the top. Like, you know those ballerina moves where you put your hand up? And
Shut up.
And it was so fucking Belushi, Joey Diaz bad. Like, it was so unorganic. Like, I'm dropping my fucking soul to you now.
Yeah.
And this is why I really had to after he told me that, like, on the plane to Phoenix, I thought about it, on the plane back from Phoenix. Like, who the fuck told me? Like, at least when you're a plumber, you know, you figure out the pipe sizes and everything works out. You know what I'm saying? Like, with this shit, I mean, and I bet we could do a survey of the 500 top comedians to tell their story, and they would say, I don't know. After that one set, because there's always that one set or one situation where you're like, man, maybe my uncle was right. Maybe I should have joined the plumbers union, or, you know, just to fall back on something.
Yeah, but Joey, don't you think it's just that the basic need is just you just want to be able to have a voice? Like, for me, that's what it is. It's like, you know, so many shitty things happen in your life sometimes, and I just knew I'm always I'm going to have a voice about this. Like, even when I was a kid and things were really bad, I always knew I'm going to figure out a way how to talk about this. You know, growing up poor, or with a handicapped mother, or, you know what I mean, being on welfare, and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Things happen in people's lives, you know what I mean? But what makes us all the same, I think, is we just have a need to want to voice it, you know?
But it's amazing how, even with you know, you were stripping, and you put your blinders on, and I mean, I hate to ask you this, before you were announced your name that you won Star Search, as you were walking up to Star Search, was it so fucking surreal at that moment? I mean, I hate to ask you this, but I know it would blow my fucking mind.
No, you know what? I remember.
I would blow my fucking mind. I'm sorry.
I remember when they called my name, and I was.
If these bitches only knew I was stripping 2 years ago,
right?
Yeah.
I was looking at in a crowd, and I was just like, "Ain't life some shit?" You know what
really
I mean? Like,
fucking is.
Wow, life is really weird. Life is really weird.
This is like before you went to walk up, did you think of, you go, there's 2,000 people in the audience. One of these motherfuckers put $1 in my thong at one point or another. You know what I'm saying? Like one of them's going to go, next to that, like we have to go. Like, you know, like Felicia, that's a big accomplishment for somebody. Like to walk out on a stage at Star Strip and then a couple of years later to walk out to be announced to win Star Search.
Yeah, it is.
You went from, that's the name of your book, From Star Strips to Star Search. You know, I mean, it's just an amazing, and I tell you, man, and Felicia, the reason why I want to cry is because I know that there's times I go to Vegas, and you know it's dark in Vegas, and as they're walking into your room or whatever, Mr. Diaz, come with me, and they have like a flashlight on the floor, and you're walking, and I'm walking with these people, and they're calling me Mr. Diaz, and if these people only knew that 20 years ago I was walking through these hallways with handcuffs on, and this is what comes to my mind.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm thinking about as I'm going to go walk on stage. Like, before I want to stab somebody, this is the feelings that makes me want to stab somebody. That I actually see my hands going up with handcuffs on. And I could see myself like this guy with a flashlight to me as a guard. And I'm walking to go to my jail cell. Like, this is what I see sometimes. And all of a sudden I snap out of it and I laugh and I go, how fucking crazy is this shit? I gotta go on stage now and that's why I don't even worry about material or time or nothing in life, because it doesn't matter once you go up there. Once that transition is made, and that's at a small level. That's at a small level, Felicia. I can't think of you with what I told you. That's just such a national level. It was so much more. At any time when you were walking up there to get your little fucking award, did you think these motherfuckers only knew? They don't know. And the people watching you probably said, oh, she probably had a fairy tale life.
Right.
Look at her. She was the quarterback's wife, and she divorced him and became
Can I ever
comic.
tell you the story about the other girl, though? Because in Star
Search.
Yeah.
No.
Well.
Who was the other girl? Can we name her?
Yeah, her name was Leslie Norris.
And where is she now? Have you ever heard from her again?
I saw her on Facebook somewhere or something, and but she doesn't live in LA or New York. And I remember the Star Search thing. First of all, when they did Star Search, and for those of you, because we have young listeners too, it was like American Idol of the time, of the time, and so they would have all sorts of different categories, and then they would shoot 2 times a year. And they would shoot the first half, like they would do a bunch of shows, and then 3 months later they would shoot the second half towards the end of the year, and then from the first half they would pick a semifinalist, and then it would start again, and for the second half they would pick a semifinalist, and then the semifinalists would go against each other. But I went on the second half, and I was literally on the last 3rd or 4th show, and there hadn't been a consistent winner, so I just happened to be able to win like a couple of them. That's all the material I had. And but the girl that was from the first half, Leslie Norris, and she was a blonde girl, and she had a pleasant atmosphere, and so we go against in the finals, and she goes on first, and so I think, well, she definitely has the advantage because she went on first. We're very similar, and then I went up, and I have a good set, but I was just telling the story the other day, like you never think when you're going to have a chance to win, that kind of a thing, how you're going to be if you lose. Like you can't call that on yourself, how you're going to react until you're in the middle of it. You can't call it, And I just remember when I thought I was going to lose, like I was okay with it, you know what I mean? And I went over to shake her hand, and I'm like, Leslie, I think you won, and I'd like to be the first one to congratulate you. And she looks at me and she goes, well, it's all in God's hands now. And then I just thought to myself, fuck it. You know what I mean? I think I won. I'm done. And I did win. And then later we were drinking champagne, my boyfriend and me, in my dressing room, celebrating. And we could hear her crying in the next room. And I felt bad there for like a second.
It's a very touching story.
I know, but I know.
No, that's an amazing story. I didn't think
about
about it till the other day that I was thinking about my situation, and I was dying to get my hands on you. In fact, that's why I called you the other day, because I was thinking about you. I was thinking about you all morning, how, my God, what about her? This is nothing. My situation is nothing. She was on a stage shaking her ass, and then the next thing you know, she's winning on CBS at the time. Was it CBS? Mm-hmm. That's fucking big. That's not PBS,
and
bitch.
You know what a funny story is too, because when I quit comedy, I did photography, and I worked for this a photographer named Michael Greco, and he went and shot the AVN Awards. I was one of the assistants, and I was the only girl assistant, and I had to do all. It was like a fucking hard thing, and this is after I did comedy and everything, and I had to go and get the stripper chicks and all the porn actresses to come get photographed. It was like one of the most interesting experiences of my life. It was so fucking hard because I had to be as physical as 20-year-old guys. You know what I mean? Because it was it's a young man's game. So the funny part is they put me, because they shot that at the Venetian, they put me at the Tropicana, like way down the strip. So I didn't get off till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I had to drag all my luggage and take a train to go to the fucking Tropicana, and then I got lost trying to go through another hotel.
Oh,
it's like
a
a fucking
nightmare.
Like,
yeah,
and I just spent 20 hours on my feet, lifting shit and all this kind of stuff. And I go into the parking lot of the Tropicana, and I used to play the Tropicana all the time as a headliner. And my name would be up in lights, and I was like slugging along. And meanwhile, I got 2 kids at home, and my husband's pissed because he doesn't understand it. And I'm just, like about to cry. And I look up, and I was like, fuck, my name used to be up there. And look at this now. Like, this fucking sucks. But I was kind of happy to be there.
That's a great fucking story. That's, it's humility is the best gift in the fucking world. Humility, when you can laugh at something, when you just giggle at the end of the whole experience, it really is the best thing in the fucking world. It always, it's just, it's fucking great. No, I'm happy I remembered this to ask you this, because I had been wanting to ask you just the experience for you.
But what is it for you that makes you think you could be that ballsy and do
at that
such
time,
a big risk?
At that time, if I tell you something, you're not going to believe this, because I'm really not that smart. I had nothing else.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I had nothing else, and I kept hearing. I always tell people, he won the Academy Award that year. Like, I fucking hated Richard Gere growing up. That the worst thing is to be an insecure kid and for your girlfriend to like somebody when you're a kid. And you can't say, shut the fuck up with Richard Gere, because I'm going to stab you in the fucking neck. And if I see that cocksucker, I'm going to stab him in the neck. I always hated Richard Gere. And I seen him in a club in New York, and he had white hair. And I'm like, this bitch can't compete with me. I'm slinging a 1.5-minute dick. You know what I'm saying? He can't compete with me.
Of course he cannot.
And then I fucking hated him, and I got stuck one day in Harlem. I didn't have to go to work till 5, and I watched Office and the Gentleman. And I watched, it was a double feature. It was Office and the Gentleman and something else. And the first one was good, and I'm like, do I have to it was Office and the Gentleman and American Gigolo for like $5 in Harlem. For the one, it was like $3. So American Gigolo was pretty good. I tolerated it for a while. But Office and the Gentleman, I got to put up with this fucking guy playing a Marine or whatever the fuck, and I was going to leave. My plan was to leave after 15 minutes. But he says such a fucking great line in the movie, Richard Gere, that just destroyed my insides. Did you see the movie? When he's going to get thrown out and the guy's making him do push-ups?
Right.
And he goes, you're a fucking loser. Your daddy's chasing whores. He just broke it down for him. And Richard Gere pops up and he goes, I got nowhere else to go.
Oh, right.
I got nowhere else to go. And that line always stayed in my fucking head, and I'll never forget that. I got to tell you, like, I used to be a host at the Boulder Broker, and that's how I met Tribble, and that's how I met Doug Stanhope, and I happen to meet a lot of comics that I'm friends with today. And my goal was to get good enough to go on a Tribble run, and that the Tribble run was going to save me. You know what I'm saying?
Tell them what the Tribble run is for those.
The Tribble runs are David Tribble's a booker in the Pacific Northwest. And he books like 7 or 8 different runs. In those days, this guy had like 12 runs. And you went from Colorado to South Dakota all the way back west. And you would do comedy every night. There would be 6-hour drives in between, 5-6 nights a week. And you picked up $125, and it was $90 in gas. So, and it really teaches you the humility of being a comic. Like, for you to become a comic, you do a Tribble run, and then you really decide what your fate is, because this is only a beginning. That'll really let you know. And Tribble has runs like the banana run. What is it? The potato run one. That means through Idaho on the west side. That's like Pocatello and fucking Snakes, Grants Pass, Idaho, and all that shit. And then he'd have like potato run 2, which would mingle in with Billings, Idaho, and the 8-ball in at the whatever Montana. And these runs really teach you how to be a comic. And this was going to be the salvation of my life. They were going to pull me out of here, and I didn't have to be a dad no more. I was just going to go on an endless Tribble run. I heard of people who just went on endless triple runs. I had myself, because I was going to kill Jackie's father, so
Right.
Jackie's stepfather. So I said,
yeah.
you know what? And one January night, I get a call like at fucking 11:30 at night. Joe Diaz, Dave Tribble. I'm hearing good things about you, and I'm going to put you on the road for 2 weeks, and then from there we'll take it. And he gave me 2 weeks of hell. It opened up in Rock Springs, Wyoming. I'll never forget. I had to share a room. Opening night of my comedy day fucking Butte. And I got to share a room. And from there I went to Utah, but it wasn't like a cool part. It was something. It was an Air Force city, and they hated me. They booed me and shit. But
Really?
Oh, please. But the
wow.
beauty of it was that I was prepared. I knew when I got in that car I wasn't coming back. Like, I just knew in my heart. And I had 2 licenses. I had 2 different licenses from Colorado. Like, I had got a license and I lost it, so I went and got another one, then I found it. And when I left Colorado that night, when he called me, he goes, you got to leave tomorrow, like at 8 in the morning, because you got to be at Sumter, Idaho at 6 o'clock at night. Like, I had to leave at 7. Like, my whole life was in those last 2 hours. I had to call my ex-wife and say I couldn't have the kid on Wednesday. But I knew. I packed my shit in boxes pretty much, and that whole night I didn't sleep. And I remember getting in that car, and I had like maybe $35. I had enough gas money to get me to that first gig. That first gig, they give you like $100 cash, and that would get me throughout. And I'll never forget that. I go, you know what? If I fill up here, I'm not going to be able to eat lunch. I have an idea. And I went to that gas station that I went to all the time, and I filled it up, and I went and I go, I got no cash on me. I'll give you my license till I come back. And I knew I wasn't coming back. Like, that was the last thing I knew. That was the last thing I did to know in my head that I could never come back. This is my gas station. Mm-hmm. This is like me writing a bounce check at Rouse. I would never do that. But I knew, like, after that, if I was leaving Colorado, it was like $24 in gas, that this was it. And I just got in that car and went, you know.
Wow.
And
wow.
that was it. I just knew. I went to Seattle. I hooked up with that girl. I kept buying my time, and then that was it.
That's how I felt when I left Colorado, because I'd been living with this guy that owned a club in Colorado Springs, and then when I broke up with him, he's like, you won't work anywhere in the state. And I just remember, like, I was like 20 years old, already was a stripper, already was married and been hit on, you know what I mean? And now I'm doing stand-up comedy. And my mother was ill, and I felt guilty about leaving. But man, sometimes you just gotta fucking
you got to do what's right for you. And sometimes people will survive. People will fucking survive. It's funny because I got a great Facebook today. Like, we got a good emails. I got a Facebook first asking me about. And I was in a good mood all day. I told you, I woke up this morning, I get like heart murmurs, and I had like a heart murmur, so I didn't really push the envelope today. I just chilled. I had him run a few errands, but I was feeling kind of weird today, and I got this Facebook from this kid, and it asked me when I worked with the guys from basketball, what did I think, and I said it was okay, but then he hit me he wanted a better answer, so I hit him on his message board, and I told him what I thought, and I didn't think much about it, and he hit me up today, and he goes, thank you for returning the message to me. It was very nice. Nobody ever hits me back. I'm 14. I listened to the podcast, and I just lost my mother in March.
Oh,
and I gotta tell you something, Felicia. It's like that somebody had just stabbed me in the fucking back. I looked at his picture, and I could tell he wasn't prepared for what was going to happen to him. And I just went back and forth with him, and he was telling me about his family situation, what had happened, and I was thinking about, 5 months after his mother died, he's on fucking Facebook, and he seems okay, And I was like, everything's going to be all right, because at least, he asked me, he goes, did you ever feel like you didn't give a fuck? And I told him, that's part of the symptom of, they took your mother, guy. Somebody took your mother. God took your mother. Society took, you don't know who it is, but you can't really put it. One of the symptoms is you want to fight back. You don't care. You want to die. And I told him that. I go, hey, man, I was ready to kill somebody because, in fact, I was hoping he'd kill me. He would do me a fucking favor. After I shot him, he'd have a gun in his BB in his sock or something. But it was just weird. We went back and forth for a little while. I don't really have much to say about the kid. We just went back and forth. I looked at his profile. But it just struck a chord, like a chord that I don't even like going to. Like, I really broke down for like 10 minutes because I can't imagine. He's 14. He's looking at life, and all of a sudden, whoever, your mom goes away, and it's just, and I told him that just don't let it get to you and just focus on the things your mom wanted for you, that's all you can fucking do, Felicia, really.
Well, for sure, a lot of people always get more handed to them when they're younger, but it makes, you hate to even say it, it does make you stronger, but it's a terrible path.
Yeah.
But it can be an awesome experience. And you know what? I have to say, I love that I do the podcast with you and I can talk about my past. And you'll find that you'll have friends that you have so much in common with. Like, I feel that we had pretty much instant chemistry because you sense in other people when they've had a troubled past, and you can bond with that person because sometimes shit just happens for no reason, and you know what I mean. And
you know, I want to describe to him that living without your mother or a child or a parent at a young age for the rest of your life is like eating good food, but you can't put salt on it.
Yeah.
You know, we've covered this already. It's really a weird feeling, and death has always struck a fucking chord with me at any level. Whenever somebody tells me that somebody died with them, it just always, because I don't even have to know that person. You know, like I can't imagine what they're going through. But this young kid, all I wish is the best for him. And like I told him, I said I'd talk about it on the podcast today. If you have any emails or any questions at all, please, you know, I'll even give you my phone number. Call me, because I don't want him to make the mistakes I did. Which, you know what? Like you just said, in hindsight, fuck it. Without these mistakes, I wouldn't have learned. I wouldn't have become a man. Felicia, you see it. You see it because there's a certain situation. When you're Latin blooded for some reason, or Italian, I've seen it more with Italians, and even with the Irish boys, I see it. I can't even say that. I should see it as a mom. When you have a mom and you're tight with your mom, you know, it's just, you're like a prince. And my mom didn't really want me to see the ugly things. She explained them to me, but she didn't really want me to see them. But I wanted to see them. You just told me about them. Now I gotta fucking go see them. You know, I was thinking about a story when I was thinking about Korean Air now offers this thing that upstairs now they have a fucking lounge. In the old days, a flight in the 70s, when you flew, you fucking flew. This shit now is bullshit, because the older people remember that there was lounges and pianos and people were doing blow on flights, and they always used to be. If you watch Midnight Run, they go upstairs. They go upstairs because there was a food put out. They don't do this no more, but Korean Air has it, and they're charging it, but it's fucking, I think they even have a pool up there that you can sit out by the fucking pool. That's how the Koreans roll. They know it's a 16 fucking hour flight, cocksucker. But I was thinking about a time when I was with my mom and my stepdad, and we were going to Puerto Rico. And I went to the bath. We were in first class, and I went to the bathroom in the old days in first class. It wasn't like it is now. You know, when you go into a hotel, like a nice hotel, and you check in, they have all your stuff for you, shampoos, and that's how first class was. You used to open up the thing. It was a bathroom, and you went in there, and you could wash your face and wash your hair, and you could put VO5 in your hand. They had brushes, that disposable brushes. So I would always hear about my mom. When you get older, you got to make moves, you got to hustle, you got to make your own living. So what did I do? I'm like 7, I'm sitting in a fucking first class chair, and I go, I'm going to steal this little fucking puke bag. You know, the bag that you puke in? And I go, I'm going to go in the bathroom, I'm going to steal all those perfumes, I'm going to sell them on the streets. That's how I roll, right? So I excuse myself, I go in the bathroom, I fill up all the fucking perfumes, the shampoos, because they said something from France on it or something, so I'm like, I got to score. I figure I'll sell them up in Harlem when I go back. Sticky Charlie will buy them. Somebody will buy them. That was my mentality back then. But I forgot to twist one of the caps back on. So I had the thing in my ball sack. So we get off the first class flight. Me and my mother and my step were walking in Puerto Rico. We're meeting Nelson and his family. And all of a sudden I take the bag out to show him what I clipped. You know, like Nelson. And my mother's like, you should be ashamed of yourself. And we take 3 more steps, and the bag goes ba-boom, and all the glasses fall on the floor, and all these little shampoo bottles break. There was no plastic glass in those days. Right. Psh, and they made a huge noise. And I remember my mom, as crazy as she was, looked at me and she goes, "You're on your own." She just dropped my hand and kept walking. Her and my stepdad. And I stayed there crying. They're like, "You better fucking do something." And the cops were coming, and I'm crying, and and I wonder why I'm fucked up today. And I'll never forget that they took me back, and they were fucking furious. They were furious at me. They didn't even look at me for like 2 days and shit. They're like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I'm like,
I love that. You're on your own.
Yeah, I'm trying. Oh, my mother would, "You're on your own, dog. I don't give a fuck. It's over." You know, my mommy don't know nothing. You know, that's when my mom would bust out the alias. "You're a Diaz. I'm a Valdez. I don't know what you're talking about." What do you got in the refrigerator, Felicia? Anything to eat them?
I ain't got
I got low blood sugar. What do you got here?
I just went to the grocery store. I spent $300, and I ain't got shit.
No, nothing. Nothing lasts anymore.
Fun.
She went Saturday. I went Sunday. and there's nothing in that fucking refrigerator right now.
I know,
Nothing.
how can that
Fucking
be?
nothing.
Yeah.
Everything's like, you know what? I buy shit to cook, but not to pick on throughout the day. There's chopped meat that she made tacos last night that are delicious. Spicy. I'll make a little salad for lunch. I could just save the $6 or whatever the fuck I spend, you know? I like eating at home because I control it. When you're trying to stay healthy, you control it. She cut up a cantaloupe this morning, some strawberries. You eat a fucking cantaloupe after Special K. You see the piece of shit you leave in that fucking toilet. Everything comes out. Look at Felicia looking at me like, what the fuck? I'm just talking to you.
Joey, really.
Hey, man, you know, I'm
That's
to that
how we're
age.
going to kick it off this
I'm
morning.
concerned. I'm concerned about the bowels and shit. You got to, if not, I got a puffy stomach. I told you that time when I didn't do blow at the beginning. You know, I'm going to go 4 years without doing blow. In the first month.
Congratulations.
Fuck that. The first month was the hardest because I couldn't go to the bathroom.
Oh, really? Is that what happened?
Because my body was so used to the blow. Like, my body would just wait for me to do a blast and then unload everything. Like, everything. Even Tuesday's oatmeal, fucking everything. I mean, you take a It's so weird psychologically. Even when you know the coke dealer's coming, your stomach is like, fuck, I got to shit. Even if you don't do it, you know that something. There's a big bowel movement coming.
Holy
you know what I'm saying?
cow, Joey.
Hey, it's Wednesday morning. What do you want to talk about? Live life? What do you want to talk about? Flowers? What do you want to talk about?
We're talking about exactly what we should be talking
That's
about.
right. It's Wednesday fucking morning. What do you want to talk about?
You know, yesterday you asked me this question, and it, you know, because you always say, Felicia, after we talk on the podcast, I go home and I think about stuff.
Always.
As soon as my foot steps out of my fancy garage, I'm all like 20 other things.
Or what about when you listen to the fucking thing and you're like, God damn it, I fucking forgot. That's the most important thing in the fucking conversation.
Well, I don't listen to it like that because I'm editing it. Because I'm
Sometimes at the
always like,
gym.
why did Joey scream into the microphone right at this point? Why did he do that? That's what I'm thinking.
Sometimes at the gym, I'm like, God damn it, I left that whole 20-minute spiel about what the conversation was because I got too stoned when I got here. I'm sorry, Felicia. So what did you think about? Because I knew it was going to fuck with your head.
No, when you asked me, like, what made you think that you could do comedy?
What a fucked up question.
Yeah.
To ask yourself, like, who the fuck am I?
And it really stuck with me when you said about because I had nowhere else to go. Like, that stuck with me all day, Joey. That stuck with me because then I was like, you know what, Felicia? Why don't you stop the bullshit? Because that's really what it is. When you find something that you can do in your life accidentally, that you accidentally didn't even have to try at it, really. You know, that's how it was. I felt like then, like what you were saying, that I was home. Like, this is the one thing I can do, and I figured it out on my own. And, you know what I mean? This is where I belong. This must be how it is to have a dream, is when you find the one thing in your life where you don't sweat shit, where you just do it and you have a knack for it. To me, that was like, this must be what it's like to have a dream, to go do something, that you must have this feeling because it's such a good feeling. Like, this is why I was put here.
You know, the theme of this podcast is second chances, but the real fucking theme of this podcast is having a dream, you know, because before you could have that second chance, you have to have a dream. You have to sit there and go, I'm sick and tired of getting fucking arrested. I'm sick and tired of fucking getting DUIs. I'm sick and tired of losing girlfriends. Whatever the fuck it is that, you know, I'm sick and tired. And it's so weird. You ever go to a job that you get there at 8 and you think you've been there for 6 hours and you look at the clock and it's 8:35?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I know there's a lot of people going through it because I went through it. And in the back of your mind, sometimes you have a dream and you don't even fucking think about the torture you're going through because that dream is in the forefront. Like, I don't mind sweeping at the park and picking up dog shit because I know that someday I'm going to be in Madison Square Garden, you know, playing my song. You know, that's just a dream, man.
Yeah.
And we all fucking have it. And it's how you execute that fucking dream. But when you first get into something that you really love, nothing bothers you. Like, I told you that story about driving my first road gig. Oh, my God. I'm going on the fucking road. I got to share a room with a man. But it didn't matter. I was going on. If you ask me today to go share a room with a man, I will cancel the fucking gig.
Especially if it's on a Sunday.
And on Sunday. But to share a room with a man seemed like nothing because my dream was right there. To drive 6 hours in between the triple runs. It's so, like today, fucking 6 hours, Felicia, really? But we drove 6, and then guess what? On Thursday, we got to drive another 8. But we were just so happy to do it. Your dream carries you through all the bullshit. And one day, like, I don't even remember the hard times I had in comedy anymore. Like, I'm still having a hard time. But I don't like when the other day I was telling my friend, he's like, remember when you lived on Gardner in the car? Like, that was just another price to pay for me to do spots at the store.
Yeah.
If I want to do fucking spots at the store, I got to sleep in my fucking car.
I know. When I first started doing spots at the store, I stopped doing the stripping. I slept on someone's couch in Anaheim for a couple of months.
And going to the store to take showers, not even look at having foot fungus from the shower in the fucking main room where Kennison puked and God knows who else puked and fucked in that shower, and having a towel that smelled like old skin because I didn't know when I was going to go to the laundromat, but it didn't matter. Because even if I had $6, in those days, there used to be a gas station on the corner. It's still there. It's a tire place across from where Denny's used to be. It's Roma's now on Sunset. And Ramey ran it, and he would always pump gas and be working on cars. I had a science that for $1, I could go in there and get a soda and a pack of cigarettes. I would walk from wherever I was from with $1 to that gas station because I would buy the soda. He'd go, put the $1 on the counter. And I'd stick my hand above and take a pack of fucking whatever cigarettes he had. Sometimes they'd be Cools. Sometimes they'd be Marlboro Reds. But it was all part of my dream. I would walk around Hollywood. I don't even know what the fuck I would do at the time. Yeah. But it didn't matter because it's part of your dream.
Absolutely.
And you don't even know. Like, you don't even remember. We sit here now. We spoke about your high point in your career when you won Star Search and all the other awards you won. But we never really got into, like, you know, you don't really think about the hard times when you had to drive and your car broke down and you fucking, you know, you were an hour late and you needed this fucking $250.
Right.
Guys, you don't understand. Sometimes you know, before you have a gig and you know you're going to pick up $250, you go to somebody and go, dog, I need $50 for groceries and cat food and to get a little bag of weed. And they'll give it to you. So your whole thing is you're thinking about that. Like, it's just amazing. Once you have a gig in those days, it's your whole week, even if it's $75 and a dinner, you know. And just to describe that thing, and people look at us and go, how did you do all that shit? How can you do that to yourself? It's just a dream that carries us.
Absolutely.
You know?
That's part of it. And I urge anybody, especially because you said there's comedians that listen, young comedians, that to have those experiences, because that's what makes it. You know what I mean? Now in hindsight, I see, that's what made it, doing all that crazy shit, you know?
And there's very intelligent comedians. There's comedians that kept a career part-time or you know, did something. They had money put away. When I took into it, I tried having a daytime job, and fuck that. You do it for 3 days. You go out on a Tuesday to do an open mic. You plan on going home by 10, but all of a sudden somebody snorts a gram of blow at you and you get your dick sucked. Because this is the tales of the open micer. This is what keeps you alive.
Well, that's your version of it.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're waking up at 6, you're 3 miles from your house, you got no car, and you ain't going to that telemarketing job. So you try that shit for a while until you're like, fuck it, I'm a comic. And you did it. And I remember I used to be a comic, Felicia. Like, when I lived in Seattle, I slept in an office for $125 a week, and it had a toilet in the end of the office that everybody had to share. And sometimes the toilet was broken, so I'd have to go on the balcony and shit and piss off the fucking balcony.
Shut up.
You think I'm fucking kidding
Really?
you? I would piss off the balcony onto like an alleyway. I would shit and put my asshole, like it'd be dark at night. You think, bro, I've shit in the weirdest fucking places.
So how would you shit on a balcony?
I would stick my ass out the fucking beams and have like the beams hold, and I'd just shit and then wipe my ass. I'd bring toilet paper upstairs because sometimes you wake up at 6 in the morning. I joined the gym that was 3 blocks away, so I could take showers and use the phone. They had everything.
Right.
They had Q-tips. It was one of those gyms,
Right.
and they made me a deal because I was a fucking comic. You know what I'm saying? Like
Q-tips.
they had Q-tips and towels and shampoo. You know, all I had to bring was my gel. I would go to the gym 3 times a day before I moved to L.A. Before I went that pilot for CBS. I went to the gym 3 times a week. I took 4, I like to take 3 showers a day. So you just can't go to the gym and take a shower. Don't know something's up. So I would work out for an hour and then fucking take a shower and, Q-tip myself and put gel in. And it was fucking, and I think of it now. Like, I lived in a place that didn't even have a shower. I used to shit and piss off a fucking balcony at like 6 in the morning. Well,
let me ask you, was the balcony, did it face into an alley?
It was a fucking fire escape.
Did anyone ever walk by during the day and go, what the fuck?
What the fuck? It was like, let's say like I got up like at 9 hungover. Like I would always come home and bring water with me. I slept on a fucking blanket. And all there was in the room was a fucking phone, an 800 number. Because I was doing sports betting online. This is a great fucking story. I forgot all about this. I'm in a bar one day at a Lobo Loco. Josh Wolf from Chelsea lately ran this bar. This was his daytime job. We would sit there and have lunch. They had a Romero was the cook, and he'd make the best fucking Mexican food in the world. And one day we're sitting there talking about gambling, and some kid comes in there, some fucking pigeon. And I know the statistics for gambling. You're going to lose. I know that even if you get me the first week, you're going to fucking lose. I just got to cut you off before you start winning.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of gambling. You have to fucking figure out, especially when you don't have a bank. So I lied to this guy and told him I had connections in bookmaking. And the guy's like, I want to put bets in with you. The first week, the guy loses $800. This guy's like a grape for me. So he gives me $800. Second week, he loses like $9. Third week, he loses like $1,000. The third week, he loses like $3,000. And he's got to pay me, but he's like, listen, I'm sick and tired of paying you. Something's up here. I want to meet your guy and all this shit. And I said, listen, either you give me my fucking money or this is over with. I'm going to get in the car and go to, in those days, the big room on Wednesdays was in Moscow, Idaho for John Fox. I go, I'm going to Idaho. When I come back, you'll be dead. So either give me my fucking money. He goes, all right, I'll give you $1,000. And he worked for a phone company. He goes, I'll set you up with a phone line. And I swear to God, I had free unlimited 1-800 number for people to call me in. And I had a free 1-800 number for people to call out.
Right.
It was the weirdest fucking thing. And I would do sports betting from there. This is so fucking crazy. I even remember this shit now. And I remember I was going to kill this kid on the street one day. Like, I had a hammer in my hand. I'm like, I want my money. I'm like, if I hit this kid, I'm going to go to jail for life. You know, I'm going to go to jail for fucking life.
You really had a hammer on the street?
In my hand.
Really?
Yeah, because what are you going to do? You got to get your fucking paper. You got to get your money, you know. So I had a hammer in the car.
Did he pay you?
He gave me like $1,100. And he's like, dog, because I said to him, right, I go, either you have my money or I'm going to make a call. I'm going to go to Moscow, Idaho. I'm done with this. I don't even want the money no more.
Yeah.
But they're going to go to your house. They're going to come to where you work. You don't need that shit. Who's going to come to my, I don't know, 3 fucking guys with no necks. You don't need that aggravation. And as I'm getting in the car, he's like, all right. I'll make you a deal. He's like $1,000
wow.
and I'll set you up with this phone system. So I was a fucking bookmaker, like a fake bookmaker, combination sports information salesman. And I did comedy at night.
And shit off a balcony.
And shit off a fucking balcony.
Wow.
That's amazing, the things we do for fucking comedy, dog. You have no idea.
Well, maybe the things you do.
I
would just be like, fuck it.
One night I was at the Ha and these kids were talking about like open mic, and I remember in '94 I was an open micer, and when I went through, I used to deliver packages to buildings, and for a phone company like this certain whatever it was, like a cell phone communications company, I drop off packages for them. I had 1,000 jobs for these. I used to sell tickets for the comic strip. Remember to do spots at the comic strip? You had to sell tickets. And
in New York?
Yeah, and I keep the fucking money. Fuck Lucian. Fuck Lucian. You know how we do it.
Wow.
I'm fucking nuts, Felicia. I was nuts.
I know you are,
When
Joey,
I was doing
know.
comedy in those days, I was really fucking nuts. Talking of which, I was talking to Felicia yesterday, and I wanted to really put this up on the podcast. I don't know if this is proper to put this up on the podcast because me and Felicia are a team, but we ran it by yesterday. You know, Felicia said something a couple of weeks ago to one of my friends. She goes, I really want to know you, somebody who knew Joey's mother.
Yeah.
You know, and I started thinking about that. I go, if this is Felicia, who's my friend, and my mother, and I have a lot of people, when I write blogs and shit like that, they really, like the numbers are triple when I write about my mother. Whatever it is, whether she robbed somebody, whether her alias, it's such an interesting character,
and
you know?
And you envision it in your head when you're telling me these stories, like, I just wish I could see a picture.
Yeah, it's just really weird. So the one day I was thinking, I started doing this Mad Flavor World on YouTube just to show them what else we do, whatever the fuck is on there when I take it. You know, Gabriel gave me this camera. Gabriel went in his pocket and paid $400 for this camera.
Right, for the little bloggy.
For a little bloggy, but he gave it to 20 people.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to leave it at home. When somebody gives you a gift like that, he's hot, I want to take his energy and run with it. That's why I really started to do it, Felicia, because when somebody gives you a present, like if right now,
it's
bro,
true.
Listen, when I got the fucking longest yard, I had no fucking dough. And the day before I got the longest yard, they called me officially, like I knew I had it. But the day I found, Ralphie May came by and he goes, hey, dog, I'm going out of town. Do you need anything? And I go, Ralphie, I'm your brother. I need a couple $100. I'm fucking dying. And he went in his pocket and he took out like 3 crumpled up 300s. And he goes, if you need more, call me when I'm on the road. And I go, this is all I need. But that was when he first got second place on Last Comic Standing. That energy, that $300, that's why my mother, whenever she hit the track or whenever she won at the track, she gave away that money. Because she felt it was good luck money. So it was like a score. For my mother, if I won 2,000, gave Felicia 2,000, Karma's going to give me another 4,000 for me giving her good luck for that 200.
Right.
So when I took that fucking camera home, like I was like, this is a gift from somebody who's on fire. I got to do something with it. So I started doing these Mad Flavor World videos, and I started getting little emails, and I started thinking about what you had said and what my wife said one day. And I said, why don't I do this? Why don't I just go to North Bergen, New Jersey, where I'm from, and do like a documentary about the first house I robbed, The first guy I did cocaine with, I already talked to him. He cleared it. He'll do the interview.
Awesome.
The story about when we robbed the beer truck, where my stepfather shot the dude, where we ripped the chick's wig off. I don't know if that street is there where we mugged her on 42nd Street by Lincoln Tunnel, but I know that the cemetery is still there where we lit her wig on fire. I want to give people, I want to put a picture to this. I don't know if the hooker's going to be around there. I don't know if she's probably moved on by now. But I want to give people like a shot at where Carmine Balzano shot the guy, where I learned how to play basketball, the house my mother drove in, my mother lived in, and she died in. So what I want to do is this. It costs about $4,000. And what I want to do is set up a PayPal account and have people send like $5 to $10 because I want to make them a producer on it. I don't have a name for this or nothing, but I want everybody's name on this. This is the least we could do. And it coincides with like a Beauty and the Beast production.
Oh,
So
that's a great idea.
this is something that I really want to do because, and I'm sorry that you're in New Orleans that week, but we'll have a special treat. I know, because
you were asking me yesterday about it. I was like, fuck, I'm in New Orleans and I'm doing a photo project with some girlfriends of mine and everyone's bought tickets I can't get out of. But I really wanted to go.
And we'll do another one. We'll do it like I was thinking of doing one in Denver with you, because Denver would be better if we did Denver together, because you're from Colorado Springs. I could show people where I kidnapped a guy. With a jail I did. So that's one that we'll do during ski season. You could take the boys and disappear after 2 days. You follow me? So it's genius. You can go skiing. I'll meet you for 2 days. You disappear and finish your trip.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
But I'm excited about what you're saying.
So, and I really want, like at first I was like, fuck, I really want Felicia to photograph this, because this is why we're in a bind. We have no photographs. But I'm going to do the best I can to fill you in.
I could fly on the 20th.
And then I'm coming back on the 20th. I'm doing the one-man show on the 21st.
Oh,
yeah. Man. So I've been calling around the places. Like I want to do like a little Anthony Bourdain restaurant thing. I want to show people the restaurants I went to as a kid 30 years ago, and they're still there. Rudy's, Chan's Dragon Inn. I'm going to take you to the jewelry store we robbed. I just want to give you an in-depth look at what I'm about. And this is the best way to do it. I'm taping it with a bloggy.
No,
I'm
it's
giving
perfect.
it to you the same thing because I want the same guerrilla effect. There's no camera guys. The only thing we're doing different is we're getting mics. That's why I asked you if you had any live mics. Ari's got 2 of them. So Ari's going to be there Sunday
That's
to tape.
What I'm excited to see, too.
You
and Ari together.
And it's just something I really want to do because I think people want to know it. And I want to see it. I want to see it from a different perspective. I spoke to my high school teacher yesterday, and I told him the idea. And he said to me, make sure you put the scene in there where you go down to your mother's cemetery and drink a bottle of Chivas with her and smoke pot. That's going to really get them. And I knew it. Yeah. Everybody that I've told this to, that I've told my tight friends, and I've listened to them laugh at the idea, but at the same time, they've called me back and said, dog, I got to tell you,
I'm
make
bummed
sure
that I can't go down and
one.
film it for you.
I called my buddy who's got the cancer, and I said, listen, I can't go visit you, but if you come up and tell the story when I robbed the fucking fake condominium, because when they build homes, they always build them and then put one with furniture and stuff like that. I know.
You know what? I actually in Colorado they did that, where they had the one model thing, and they hired a bunch of comedians, and we all were in the basement, and they wired every room, and we had to be a character in the room in a fake model of a condominium. It was such a trip.
Yeah, and they have them set up, and I remember we had just moved to Colorado. We had a piece of wood for a table with a milk crate, a television, and 2 beds. Yeah. And I said to him, bro, I went to visit your brother. They got one of those condos, thing. And he just looked at me this morning. He brought it up. I said, Jimmy, I really want you to come up and do like a little footage of you talking. And he goes, I'll tell him the one about that one. He goes, that one was a no-brainer. He goes, I didn't even know you need to rob him. Just when you mentioned it, I knew that condo was going down. Right. He was very funny this morning when we talked about it. But and it's like a thing for me. It's a funny thing on paper, but it's maybe a little closure for me for all the bad things I did also, to make peace. If I go to the jewelry store and the owner's in there, I'm going to go in there and apologize, tell him, hey, 30 years ago, I robbed your fucking joint. Yeah, I'm going to take it to the next level. Why not? Really? It's 30 years ago. He already got the insurance money.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to find the guy I robbed a half ounce of Coke from. This kid, Mike Mullick, I robbed a half ounce of Coke from. Me and Tommy Russo robbed him in summer of 82. And for a year, every time we would see my friends, for years after that, I shouldn't say a year, he would always go, how's Coco doing? Tell that motherfucker that half ounce of Coke set me back for years. I'm still paying it off. I mean, it was just...
Will you go to the towers in Jersey, those 2 towers?
The Galaxy Towers?
The Galaxy
Towers?
If
they'll let me in there.
Yeah.
I'll show where the fag beat me up. Because it's right around the corner from the Galaxy Tower.
I hate that word, Joey.
The gay guy. No, let's talk about something that's very interesting. Very fucking interesting. 2 weeks ago, and I almost called you. I was in Milwaukee on Friday night, and I have when you go to a certain place, you can't sleep because of the time zone. And I was watching CNN, and they interviewed Isaiah Washington, the young black gentleman that got thrown off the show for saying gay remarks.
Grey's Anatomy or something?
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
And he made a very, very interesting point, and he wasn't backpedaling it. I've never been a big fan of his or whatever, but I know when somebody's bullshitting. I know when somebody's trying to be Hollywood, and I know when somebody's got nothing to lose, and they just say what they say. And he made a point, and it hit home with me 100%. I really want to address this. He said that when he said the word faggot that day, that he goes, times have changed. And he's 48 like me, and he goes, times have changed. And I'll tell you what, he goes, when I was a kid, the word faggot meant that you were weak. And in my mind, I understand. Like if you were the kid, like in 1975, if you had a speed racer bike and you put a helmet on with knee pads and elbow pads, you were a faggot. Even your mom called you a faggot. Like, get in the house. Get the feel of the concrete. It really was. Don't sit there and go, Joey. The word was for somebody weak. And anybody who's older will relate to this. The word, when we were kids, the word faggot, we would say, that guy's a little faggot. But it would be like, you would say, I went to this club the other night and some guy called me a cunt, Joey, and that guy didn't fucking stick up for me. And I'd go, bro, what do you expect? That guy's a faggot. Which meant he's fucking weak. He's not going to stick up for you. But over the years, the word has changed. And that's what the problem is. All of a sudden now the gays are getting offended because of the word faggot. We've had this conversation 2,000 times. And I know some people get offended. Listen, the word spick was the word spick in 2011. And it's the word spick in 1966 when I got to New York City. The thing is, I'm going to keep using the word faggot because that's the word I grew up in, and I'm not offending the gays at all. I got plenty of jokes to offend the gays if I want to offend them or any other group. I'm not in business to offend nobody. I just use the word faggot because it's the word I used as a child. That's all of a sudden, 2 years ago, the word became bad to use.
This podcast, as you said, is all about second chances.
Right, I understand.
And this podcast is about learning about yourself.
Absolutely.
And learning
and that's what I did. I learned about myself when I watched Isaiah Washington.
But to know that it's offensive to people because it hurts people's feelings.
It should not hurt people's feelings. It's a by the way word that they've added in this politically correct environment. No, for 30 years it wasn't a bad
Joey,
word.
We're the same age, and when I was a little girl and I heard someone say faggot to someone, that was saying you're right, you're weak, but you're a weak little gay dude.
No.
Yes,
I do it
Joey,
gay. No,
please.
it didn't.
I gotta call you on
I
your
just
shit.
told you how I used it.
Right,
I just told you how I used it. Dog, I got into a fight the other night and this guy didn't fucking jump in. What'd you expect? He's a fucking faggot. That was the way I used it. And I just I didn't think about it. I just said it to you now.
But Joey, for a majority of people, when you say faggot, it is a little bit weak, but it's also saying that you are a person that puts, a dick in your mouth and you should be ostracized and you're not as, you're lesser than another person.
Let me tell you something, dog. Let me tell you the society we fucking live in. Last week, George Lopez got fucking canceled. The show was horrifically bad. They told him in April the show was getting canceled to get his shit together. And he still went on there with his lame ass material. And in August, when they fired him, he decides to make a YouTube video. And what do you think he says? They fired me because of the color of my skin, in so many words. I'm Latin, and when I hear that, I get offended. That offends me because you're copping out to something. Listen to me. The gay, when you were a kid, you were either gay. Faggot meant you were weak. If you want to make a big deal about me saying the word faggot and you get offended as a gay person and you're not strong enough as a gay man, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. If tomorrow somebody knocked this podcast off the air, I would not raise my hand and say it was because I was Latin and they took it off. It was because the podcast sucked and I wasn't getting through to people.
Because you keep saying the word faggot.
I'm sick and tired of cop-outs in this country. And it's a fucking cop-out. If you're a man that's, it's like if you're a man that's fucking in control of you, and I'm as insecure as I am. I'm a fucking comic. And there's words that I've never reacted to the word spick. Do you know that? Never reacted to it. I grew up with kids that call me that every day. I could have reacted 1,000 times. I could have said I didn't get on Last Comic Standing because I could have said 1,000 things, but I wouldn't. If you're not good enough for something, it's because you're not good enough for something. And I understand that. And this is not the topic at hand. I'm sick and tired of people raising their hand to be a part of something that it's not even in their speech. When I call somebody a little faggot, I don't even mean it as a gay person. I mean it as somebody weak. In my heart, Felicia. In my heart.
Totally hear
in
what
my
you're
fucking
saying,
heart.
Joey, and I totally believe you, but the reality is,
if you take it the wrong way,
the majority of people who use that word use it in the way that these people are complaining about because it's true.
Then get on the boat, take a number, and keep fucking complaining, and keep blaming everything on society.
The beauty of this podcast is we can
Second
agree
chances
to disagree.
Right? No, that's the beauty of it. Oh, I understand.
And we do the podcast in my fancy garage.
Yeah,
and all that kind of stuff. But Joey, I look at it this way: would you say that word in front of my kids?
Fuck yeah.
Really?
Fuck yeah.
I would be upset.
I would say faggot. I would slip and say it.
So
what do you? It's who the fuck I am, Felicia.
I know,
it's who I am. I would control myself and not say it on purpose. No. I would not say it on purpose. I would not say it on purpose, but I'm going to say the word. You know what I'm going to fucking say, Felicia? Because they're going to fucking hear the word eventually. So please, stop it. Stop it today. Not today. Not today. If you get offended by the word faggot, then you need to suck a fucking dick. End the story.
I have sucked dick.
We're done.
I am offended to the word
faggot. Stay
faggot.
black, bitches. We gotta go do some shit. I love you, motherfuckers.
All right.
We got no sponsors. Email us at beautyandthebeastpodcast@gmail.com. It was always a fucking pleasure to see you, sexy motherfucker.
Joey, we've learned how to agree to disagree. It's awesome.
Fuck it.
By the way, if you would like to email your thoughts on Joey's use of the word faggot, please email us at beautyandthebeastpodcast@gmail.com.
And make it snappy, cocksuckers.
Yeah, I'd rather you say cocksuckers in front of. That's what that is. I mean, I do get your point in that aspect. It's okay if you say cocksucker in front of my kids.
It's time. What's he saying in the beginning of that song, though?
What?
What's he really saying in the beginning of that Irish song? It's time that people are looking their fucking backyards. It's time for us to stop faking the funk as a nation.
You know, when someone says to me, miserable fuck, 5 names pop into my head.
And I'm 1 and 2 on the list and shit. Felicia, I've known Felicia for a long time. And the beauty about comedians is that you meet people along the way. And some people really fucking inspire you. And some people don't inspire, they just make you laugh because they're characters in you.
Right.
And our friendship blossomed because of a guy named Alan Stevens. You know, he told me what was going on in your life, and I'm like, tell me that isn't true. That bitch is a fucking star. She's up at the Canoga Bowl. Fuck that. I'm taking her to Brea. You know, we're taking her to Madison Square Garden. We ain't fuck that bitch. Have her call me tomorrow. And I'm like, tell her, you know, I'm not hitting on her, but that's Felicia fucking Michaels. She's out there. She better get that. And the rest is history. And it's so weird that, you know, you invite Alan for barbecues. I've known Alan you've known Alan for 30 fucking years.
I've known Alan since I'm 19 years old.
I seen a picture of him on your Facebook. He looks like a fucking movie star when he was 20.
Oh, that one picture,
that motherfucker looks like Jackie Gleason's grandson.
He's cute, yeah.
What was his name? What was Jackie Gleason? He played in Rush, the movie Rush.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
He looked like him when he was younger.
Yes.
Beautiful fucking Jew out of Philadelphia.
That's Jackie Gleason's grandson?
Yeah.
Jason
Patrick.
Yeah.
And let me tell you.
Oh, my God. He is a. Oh, he
Let me
is
tell you who's Jack.
hot.
Let me tell you who his father is.
Yeah.
When you find out who his father is, you're going to say, I know why he's so good looking. The Greek priest in The Exorcist.
Really?
That's his fucking father.
Oh, really?
Demi, why you do this to me? When he punches his mother and shit like that. The boxer, that's his fucking father.
Yeah.
He's married to Gleason's daughter. Anyway, a little trivia for you.
All right, there you go.
Anyway, and it's so weird that you've known him for so long. And I've known him, you know, Alan. And it's so weird that for me, like I tell people, bro, you feed me, you got me. I don't give a fuck what package or what people call it, luggage comes with it. The proof is in the pudding. You feed me in this fucking life, and I'm dedicated to you. And and especially when you don't ask somebody for something. And he seen me one night, and he goes, "Bro, I have something for you." And a week later, I got a call at the thing. They want to see you for Arliss, and I go down and I read and I book it, and I don't know nothing. And the next thing you know, I get a call, and you're shooting with James Coburn, and I just wanted my head to blow up that somebody had given me this gift. You know, Alan Stevens
did that for you?
Gave me this gift. He was a producer on Arliss, and he just goes,
he did that for you.
Joey, you're perfect for the role. You know, take it, go in there and knock it out of the park. We believe in you. And during the shoot, him and Arliss were talking to me like I was special on the set, and he just made me feel. And then he introduced me to Coburn, and you know me, you want to smoke a number, and the next thing you know, I was in my fucking environment. And you know what, dog? Alan Stevens calls me for anything. I got to take the gun. I got to dig up the gun. That's the type of guy I am. Just because of that. Even if he's wrong. As long as he tells me, even if he says, listen, I went up there and I called them all a bunch of cocksuckers and they beat me up, but I got to go back. I'm going with you because of that. Just because of that. And we found out they're shooting some Showtime specials, which you were up for one of them. And I'm
But it
very
didn't
proud of you.
happen. It didn't
And
happen.
it slipped out because of stupidity. But at least your name, hey, dog, you got to get mentioned. You got to get noticed
No, you
before you
gotta
get
get on
mentioned.
people's list,
And
yeah.
that's the fucking thing. You got on the list, and now you're on for the next one. But Alan, a guy that's been doing comedy for 30 years, he's written for a lot of people. You know, he's doing Rita Rutner's show. I don't know what the name of it
I think
is.
it's called The Guys Who Could Be My Exes. or
Right, guys to
something.
be my husband or
Or
something like that.
that.
And you know what? I
Otto
thought
and
about
George,
it.
I heard is
Otto
gonna
and
be
George is
on
doing
it.
the Rogan podcast.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, he's doing the Rogan
Oh, he
podcast. Like, he
is?
hit up Joe and said, and if you don't know about Otto and
Oh,
George,
my God.
that's a complete different fucking story there. But you know, I thought about it when the kid said, I go, who's shooting that? And the guy goes, some guy, Ellen Steffens. And I go, Alan Stevens? And it's the same thing we discussed early in the podcast. You know, you see people along the way that are good guys. And I got to tell you something, when something good happens for them, you feel so
No, I'm
great
really
inside.
happy for him that he
You
got
feel,
that.
because you know that it's a boost for them.
Yeah.
You know what it is to get a
Oh,
boost.
yeah.
You know what it is for somebody to call you and say, hey, you're on this. And it may not be anything big, but it's so big to you in your heart. And I'm so happy for him. And that's part of the thing. A lot of comedians sit back and they go, you know, I don't like that guy or that guy. If I hate you, I fucking hate you. But I might respect the bit that you're doing. Or I might like something that you do.
absolutely,
Or I
yeah,
might love
yeah.
your struggle.
Yeah.
Your struggle inspires me. I just don't like you because of a character flaw and I don't like it. But with Alan Stevens, I'm so proud of him. And it just goes to show you that, dog, even when you're down in this fucking game, if you keep believing, which is the theme today, believing, things happen. As long as you get up in the morning and you write a joke and you fucking pick up a piece of paper and you put your blinker on and you're a good person, that no matter how fucking hard life gets sometimes, you do catch a fucking break. And we were done. And I said, Felicia, I really want to talk about this. I know he's your dear friend. How do you feel about it? I mean,
No, I'm very happy for him. In fact, Sabrina was here. That's his wife. We've talked about Sabrina before, but she was here yesterday, and we were kind of like, oh my God, he hasn't been done stand up on TV for forever, like, you know. And we were just like, oh my God, you better write some jokes.
has he been preparing?
He's totally been preparing. Yeah, he has a lot. He's been working on new jokes, and he works a lot at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach, and so yeah, I'm so super excited for him because he's a really solid stand-up person. In a sense, like when I got divorced, he was there as my friend, and a lot of comedians weren't. You know what I mean? That had been my friends, and he was one of the guys that stuck around. I knew him since I'm 19 years old. We used to date, and it was when I first started at the Comedy Store, and then we started dating, and Mitzi like gave me more spots or something because I'm sure she figured out that it would make him less bitter and me more funny. So, you know, and then we dated off and on for a little bit, and I laugh now with Sabrina, his wife, because we knew each other back then, and he just was the most ridiculous. We had to go to La Jolla. We were in the same condo. We had just broken up. He brought girls over. You know, he was just such the biggest asshole cute guy on the planet and one of my best friends. So yeah, you know, don't get me wrong, sometimes I like to punch him in the face when he goes all Alan on me, but
That's
I'm
what friends are
so
about,
happy
though,
for him
because
and excited for him and his wife.
Oh, it's I was thinking about you and him and this fucking whole thing. I go, we have to talk about Alan. Just something. I just said, I forget. Sometimes I remember shit when
Yeah.
I'm driving, and I get fucking pissed when I go home and listen to the podcast. And I just really wanted to give him from our hearts at Beauty
Yeah.
and the Beast, and from all our listeners. I hope he fucking destroys it.
Yeah, he's gonna
I
be
really
great
hope he
stuff.
destroys it. And if you get a chance, you know, become a fan of Alan Stevens just because of the story that I told you. He's a solid fucking guy.
And by the way, he was one of the guys when I was up for Star Search where he was like, look, sister, you might want to be using some of my jokes. That's how good of a friend he was.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's your
No,
true
no, no.
fan when
That's
your
a
friend
true
is like,
friend,
you better
man.
take some of my jokes.
And I give spotlight to these people because, man, you know, and you guys know it. You're living out in life. In life, there's good and bad people and everything. In every race and everything, there's good and bad gay guys. You know, there's good and bad everything. But when you see a good guy, something happened for a good guy, it does something to
Yes,
you. It really
absolutely.
does. And I just want to end on that. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Felicia, you know I love you. With all
Yes.
my, by the way, if you guys are looking for a broad, Felicia's single again, and she's looking fucking better than ever. She's got these great
jeez.
pants on today, and the monkey is burning a hole right through them. I just smelled
My
it.
camel toe is very
It's on
camel toe.
fire. You know what I'm saying? The camel toe is a camel foot today. It's ready. I love you guys. Have a great week. Throw them a kiss, Felicia.
Mwah.
Send a picture and your bank statement, your credit report, and I'll take a look at you and flash it over Felicia if you qualify.
You're so funny, but sooner than later.